Hey, I'm Drotos from keyboardimprov.com, and someone recently asked me, how do you create a jazz piano arrangement from scratch? You know a tune, you have a real book or something, and you know a tune like All the Things You Are. I'll use that. Great jazz standard. And how do you start at the beginning level and then gradually, whatever level you're at, find different ways to play it on the piano? And that's what I'd like to take you through, that process. And as you're looking at this, though, I'd like you to remember that whatever level you're at, like let's say you can only do what I'm going to do at the beginning, that's fine. Do that on a lot of tunes. Go towards a width instead of just a deep, right? Whatever you can play, whether it's the melody and the chords or a little solo or something, do that on a lot of tunes until it becomes fluent. Then you can raise your whole playing by learning some more advanced voicings or something. So the first thing you have to know is the melody and the chords. This is in the real book. Great resource. If you don't have it, get a copy. And you have to know the melody and the chords so well that you don't have to think about them anymore. That's the main thing, because when you're first starting out, it tends to be like, okay, I know the melody, and I know the basic chords. I'm just going to use seventh chords right now. And you're kind of thinking of a lot of things, because this tune particularly has a lot of chords in it, and it goes through several different keys. So it's not something that you can just learn 3 chords and play. So you just have to play them over and over again, put in the time, so that maybe after a month or 2 months you really know it well. Play it 10 times in a row every day, just the melody or just the chords. And the main thing to remember, though, is that you're really looking for rhythmic flexibility. That's the one thing, even at the beginning level, that will take your playing to sound at a much higher level. If you can play, instead of just playing, the same rhythm in each measure, have complete freedom. Is it just going to be on the downbeat in the left hand? Or am I going to come in right after the beat, like? See, right there I did like 6 different things. Right on the downbeat, right after, short, and anticipating the next measure. So play around with that, different rhythms. That's going to make your playing sound a lot more advanced. It's a lot more fun. Just like a little kid playing, pots and pans, or, you're just doing it with the chords of the tune. So I'm going to play All the Things You Are with the melody and chords, one time through, just 7th chords and melody. Maybe I'll vary the melody just a little bit, but basically you'll hear how much can be done with this. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, that was just 7th chords in the left hand. Melody, you could do that on 10 tunes in the real book, over the next few months, and have a lot of fun without having to worry so much about fancy voicings or anything I'm going to show you next. So the next thing is that, traditionally these jazz standards maybe start right at the beginning with the melody, or there's an introduction. Traditionally, the last 4 measures of the tune. You could end with, let's see, and then go into it, or you could improvise over those last 4 measures. into it. Or there's a traditional introduction written by Dizzy Gillespie. And then you go into it from there. So you're going to play an introduction, whether it's a traditional one, the last four by Gillespie, the last four measures, or anything else you can think of. You can just do something very abstract. Let's see, I'll just do an A flat major 7th chord here. There you go. I don't know if that was the best intro or not, but it's just something to try. Maybe a C 7th chord, because that leads to F. I've never played that before on this tune, but I'm just brainstorming. It puts a personal stamp on it. And so you have your intro, then you're going to play the head, the melody. It's kind of the head because it's like, okay, we're going back to the head there, the top. And then you can take a solo, usually through the whole tune, once or twice or something. And then you come back to the melody at some point or at the bridge. And then you play an ending, which could be that Gillespie ending. The intro, you could go back to it as an ending. Or something else that you don't even know about. Maybe a traditional Count Basie ending. You know, whatever you know. Or just end with the tune, you know. You know, beautiful ending there. So as you learn new things, you can apply them to the tune. So I'm going to play an arrangement, and the next thing though is how do you play it? Do you do these 7th chords, or do you know a little walking bass line? You can add that in, you know? You know, with the melody in the right hand. Or you could play that walking bass line as you get more advanced and play some chords underneath. Filling in some of the chords. So, kind of like a saxophone section. Bum, ba, boo, bum, bum, ba, bum, bum, bum. You know, in a big band, emulating that on the piano. And then take a solo. You could play rootless voicings if you know those, or shell voicings. By the way, I have a free ebook with a lot of these left-hand techniques in it. You find it at keyboardimprov.com. Shell voicings, some things Bill Evans did with the root in the 3rd and the 7th. Or even a little stride piano. Stride piano. It's not easy though. So when you're at the sort of intermediate level, you sort of pick what you're going to do. You can say, okay, I'm going to play walking bass, and then at the bridge, I'm just going to play chords, and then I'm going to go into stride, you know, and sort of plan it out. You might feel differently as you go through the tune, but at least have something you know you can do. Okay, I'm going to do the whole thing with walking bass line, and you do it. So let me try that just a little bit, okay? So let's say that's what you can do. You can play walking bass line. And I'm going to fill in some of the chords, but not all of them while I play the melody. So here's an intro. I'm going to do that C 7th again. go on like that, right? I decided in advance that I was just going to play walking bass through the whole thing because that's what I know how to do. Then, once you know some different techniques, okay, I can play just chords, I can do the walking bass, maybe a little stride. You don't have to plan it out so much because you know the chords so well that you can adapt. So I'm just going to play, I don't know, 3 minutes or something of all the things you are. I'm not going to plan anything. Just see where it goes, but still sort of in a traditional jazz umbrella, if you will. I'll try a different intro. I'll try that Dizzy Gillespie. So I've played the tune so many times I can go in different directions. I'm not really so worried about getting lost or messing up so bad I can't recover. I can always recover. If it goes, okay, well, where am I? Or this line's not really working out, I can recover, think on my feet. So I'm not really going for perfection, but I'm going for sort of having everything I'm able to do or have done in the past available to me. Stride, walking bass, etc., and then maybe do some different things. When I got to C major 7th at one point, I don't know, just hearing some sort of atmospheric things. So I just played the C and the B, something like that. That's not in any jazz book. That's where the imagination and just going with the flow kind of comes into play. And even bringing in different types of music. Maybe that's more classical or movie music soundtrack than traditional jazz. The last thing I'd like to just demonstrate is if you want to play a traditional jazz tune in a way that doesn't sound traditional, a little more pop or even alternative kind of thing, you can just use straight eighth notes and use the same chords. And just see where that goes. So it's more straight eighth notes, more like a folksy kind of sound. It'll still sound like all the things you are because of these jazz harmonies. So let's see. I'm just going to start with F minor because it's the first chord. I'm going to vamp on that. That was a great example. I had no idea I was going to go there for the ending. I've never ended just on F minor like that. And I just was playing around with the F minor triad with my thumb going between C, D flat, D, E flat in different ways. You know, just different colors there while repeating something, just very minimalist over it. So those are some of the possibilities that you can do on jazz standards. So have fun, explore all the tunes you have, you know. There's lots of stuff in the real book. You can see the sky's the limit. So you start with what you can know and what you already know, gradually add to that, and then your palette just gets bigger and bigger, and you can do more things. So it's a lot of fun. I'd love to hear from you. Check me out at keyboardimprov.com if you want step-by-step instruction to take your playing to the next level and become fluent. I'd love to help you out there. Good luck. I'm just going to go out with just some F minor improv. Again, didn't know I was going to do that, right? But that's the great thing about jazz. F minor. See you in the next video.